That isn't. If you drink that much while the show.
My voice will have no trouble with it.
This is, in the first place,
You know Seymour, don't you, Paul?
the Bullfrog
you
is
do.
one of the greatest
Remember him
restaurants.
from Faces?
Is that what we're here for? Oh, I didn't know.
No, but we could be. Okay, John, I just really wanted to start talking chronologically on how you got started with Shadows and making films yourself. Why? Why did you make Shadows?
Why?
Remembering that my question is not going to be heard anywhere at all.
Shadows, like any other thing, was an accident. Accidental. Desire to express oneself. Obsessive. Like we all are. We're all obsessive.
I am.
And we all, I think we're going for a way of saying something that might be different than the normal, conventional, boring way of saying something that most people like in an audience because they are dull in their own lives.
My God.
It's true. It's true.
Nobody's going to go to the picture.
So what? Let them not go. The world is
They're not going to
comprised
You're
of,
not shooting,
of a
right?
group of people that have opinions and lack emotion. And we make pictures of emotion. And
That's true.
if people go to see them, they will become touched and emotional in ways that they have never experienced before. And if they want to, they can go. If they don't want to, it's a free country. They don't have to go.
Tell me what Shadows was about, the storyline.
Shadows was about youth. It was about young people as we had known it, and we try to do it realistically, not Andy Hardy. Not that there's anything wrong with Andy Hardy, but I was a kid, and I just was as tough and as mixed up and screwed up as anyone else. And we just did it in the 1950s when everything was wonderful. We made a picture about the aimlessness and the wandering of young people and the emotional qualities that they possessed, and that's what it was about. And many people loved it.
What about Faces? What led you to doing Faces?
Faces was my boredom, my own boredom with older women and older men that try to be 18. And it bored me so much, angered me so much that we made this film. And we got some fantastic actors, Seymour Cassel, Gena, Lynn Carlin, John Marley, and Val Avery, Fred Draper. They were so much better than the original concept that they made the picture quite wonderful. And I fell in love with actors because my own hostility and my own Greekness came out in the picture, and they softened it and they made it human. And I began to realize that actors are quite unique people that no one else is like. No other people are like.
What kind of problems did you have getting a film made yourself and distributed?
I don't get you, Don.
Would you have had any problems making a film yourself outside the studio system, making it yourself?
I don't understand you.
Were there any problems in making it yourself? I mean,
There are always problems, but my problems are my own. I mean, I'm not trying to be hostile or anything like that, but I just find business boring, quite boring. It's so boring, and to talk about business, you'd have to talk to the people that run the business, who are all quite ashamed of.
the scene that we have, the girl tries to commit suicide making Faces. What was the storyline in Faces?
What was the storyline in Faces?
The couple was together and she was trying to attempt
That women, I think that women, Lynn Carlin, who played this wife of John Marley, was quite under the influence, if you will, of marriage, what it was supposed to be like. And they came home, they had a drink, they talked very nicely, and they didn't love each other. And it was their quest to find something that was substantial in their marriage that prompted the picture. That prompted the picture, because I would see married couples who were lying to one another, who had nothing to do with one another in their lives. If their tastes coincided, they felt that they were quite remarkable in their marriage, and people would say, oh, they're so wonderful together. And I really like people, you see. I really like people. I don't like business or corporate structures or anything like that, but I do like people. And married people, there's so many people that get together that don't communicate anything. They come home and they just look at each other and they say, how are you? How was the day? What happened? And they have no love. And that picture was a plea for returning to some kind of real communication.
The actors in the picture, were they adding on their own to it, their own views, their own...
Yeah. Seymour, who was in the picture, was incredible. He was nominated for an Academy Award the first time out. Lynn Carlin was nominated for the Academy Award. I was nominated for the Academy Award for the script. And it was worth it. It was maybe one of the best pictures ever made.
Would you like to make more like that?
No. No, I wouldn't.
Why?
I don't know. I just wouldn't.
So you went from there into what was more of a studio picture with Husbands, where you got involved with Ben and Peter.
That was a picture of sheer love. Gazzarra, Falk, myself, Sam Shaw, and Al Rubin got together and made a picture, and we found friendship, and we knew the meaning of male love. Not homosexual love, but love of oneself. And the women were quite jealous of that picture. They really hated that movie because they couldn't find a friendship as unique and as prosperous as that picture was. That picture was maybe a feeling that that all young people have gone through. All men have gone through a tremendous feeling of camaraderie, and then they're coerced into feeling that that's a wrong feeling, and that life is a series of misadventures and friendless adventures. But Husbands was a series of love adventures between men, and in many ways it was my favorite film.
Why, you said this before, why those particular actors, why Ben and Peter? Why do you like working with Ben and Peter?
We were all black in those days, you know what I mean? We had a black atmosphere about us, and we went to a major studio and they said, well, if you could get one blonde and two blacks...
Put a blonde in the middle, it might be...
So I didn't feel I looked like Ben, and Ben didn't feel he looked like me, but, you can't tell us apart, But we had fun. We had a lot of fun on that picture. It was a picture of ultimate love.
Ben, what about you in that picture? Did you like making it?
Oh, yes. Probably the most fun I've ever had creatively. And I don't mean fun cutting up, because a lot of people think that John and I and Peter were friends before we made that picture. We didn't know each other before we made that picture. We became friends during the making of the picture, working on the friendship of the people in the picture. We found out more and more about each other, the rotten parts and the good parts. And we decided we liked each other and trusted each other. That took time. That took at least until after the picture was over. That kind of thing.
And we really knew what it was all about.
That's right.
Was there parts of you personally, yourselves, in the picture, the character you played?
Speaking for myself, I think so. A lot of it. I started slow, but ended to the point where when we shot the goodbye scene, it was almost near the end of the wrapping of the picture. The goodbye scene where they leave me in London. Well, the tears. I find myself really saying goodbye to a wonderful experience I had had. And that's the friendship of these two guys working together, having it all. So it all sort of combined into, I'm proud. That scene, for me, is one of the best scenes ever on film.
Did you shoot it in sequence so that you were building up
Yes.
to that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wanted to ask you, too, about Husbands. You talked about the mortality of men. People learn their own mortality from a film like Husbands. And is that what they were really aware of? Their friend dies right at the beginning.
Well, one of the reasons that Ben and Peter and I were in the film is that we were all quite immature. And we were late starters. So all young men realize that they are supermen, or that they are absolutely immortal. If one of your friends dies, it's a sad and terrifying experience, and something that's lost from your life, like a member of your family dying. And that's what the picture was about, a recounting of a story of who we were and what we were to one another, and who was this lost man that had died, and did we have anything left? Was there anything of us that was mortal that we could share?
Where did you get some of the ideas, like say in the bar scene or scenes from the people, if it wasn't exactly your own lives and your own personal lives, your own marriages, in other words? What
Suggested for the road.
cameras rolling?
What?
Yeah, I keep
you
on saying
suggest
that.
the what?
I keep on saying that.
Oh, I don't care.
What,
You
Paul?
shouldn't say
Tell
that.
me.
Why?
Well, it's so important.
Cameras rolling, gentlemen.
Well, that's not up
Look
to
at the
us, that's
producer.
up to the young ladies. Are you starting with
What
us?
was it you
All right,
just said,
fine.
Paul? Because I really have
Now,
to
wait.
know. It was so interesting.
You put more lipstick on it. John, please, pay attention, John. Young ladies
I
asking
want to
you a
ask you a
question.
woman under the influence, and then I would like to talk to Jen in a minute about her role in it, but I want you to tell me a bit about women under the influence. What was behind your idea when you came up with the idea, when you made it, the story behind it.
I've been so horrible as a husband in my life that the long hours, the incredible ambition to try to make something that would satisfy me, the obscure conversations that have no meaning to anybody except to artists, for so long that I thought, my God, look at this woman who has stood behind me every inch of the way, thinking, my God, he has such an incredible potential. If only he would listen, you know. And so suddenly I thought, all right, I would like to make a picture to really say something about a person that was more to me than just a face or a figure or a mother or a homemaker or an actress or something. I really wanted to make a film about a woman that was going through tremendous trials and most of the time was alone and subject to a man's whim, bossiness, ignorance, insecurity, and double cross. And that's what the picture was about. It was about a woman and what she would go through if she had a voice.
Would you have made the man, did you make the man not quite comprehending her as a woman? It seems to me that she might have gone a little bit crazier because he was not really comprehending her, understanding her as a woman and her role as a mother and a wife and a housewife.
I thought Peter Falk was the most brilliant I've ever seen him, and he's a brilliant actor. I thought he was the kind of a man that was better than most because he loved his wife and he was behind her, and he, like most of us, couldn't comprehend exactly the meaning of someone that loves you, like most of us. And the rest of it is all political nonsense.
Gena, what about you? Were you, is any of Mabel you?
Well, obviously it is not our life. I'm an actress and I have an outside life that is separate from my home life. And yet, every woman who loves a man, I think, especially women my age, who have been brought up in a certain tradition, try so hard to be perfect. Really, truly, a perfect wife, a perfect mother, perfect everything. So that part did relate to me. I have 3 children. In the picture, I had 3 children. I am of a northern background, John is of a Mediterranean background. That was true in the movie. However, John and I were always professionals, and we started out as actors, and it isn't the same. And yet, people who love each other, no matter whether they're workers for the city, as we were in Woman Under the Influence, or whether you're an actress, there is a certain part of you that is so committed to trying to be what the other person expects of you, that in that way, I was close to the role. It's the most meaningful role that I had played up until that time, even though, now opening night, which we've just played, and which is about really the alternate part of me, the actor's part. I think that Woman Under the Influence was the first time I'd had to examine closely what I had entered into when I was very young. Because John and I have been married a long time, we married very young. And when I entered marriage with John, I brought with me all of the values that were traditional at that time, and I have a great deal of sympathy for women who throw themselves on the rocks of domesticity, or anything really, but especially that they try so hard to be perfect, and of course that's impossible for anyone, actress, housewife, scientist, no matter what it is. It's a truly imperfect thing. In fact, it's presumptuous to try to be perfect. And yet, many of us have been programmed to that point of view. And the almost inevitable conclusion is failure. And the fact that you have to sooner or later recognize that love is not a constant thing that goes bzz, it's like an EKG thing that goes bzz, bzz, bzz. In Woman Under the Influence, Peter, who played my husband, was from a traditional Italian background. He had his idea of what a wife should be. And my character was a Scandinavian, tried to fit into it. And he could not, the same thing that attracted him, the differentness when we were courting, got on his nerves when we were married. Everybody disapproved of it, his mother, his friends. It was kind of an embarrassment. And so the love went this way and this way and this way, and the only thing is that trying to be perfect, my character could not stand any rejection. And I find women of very sophisticated background still cannot stand any rejection from their husband and crumble. So that it was a fascinating part for me. I don't imagine any part really will be as meaningful to me as that. Though opening night, in a way, I have to credit John because he's not at all as any man was from my background when I was a kid, because they expected certain things, and John will take as a playwright and examine so thoroughly one side and then the alternate side without any preconceived notions about how they should act. I find that acting, you know, they always say that you take all of your experiences from life to acting. I must say that I take my experiences from acting to life. And I'm really, it's a revelation to me.
How would you, when she's breaking down, and you that's not a part of the movie a lot, how would you get inside of somebody's head who's having a breakdown?
Well, you see, we shoot in
Why was she
continuity.
having a breakdown? She wasn't having a breakdown.
In women?
A woman under the influence?
Yes.
No, she was having a disappointment.
Well, that's a question.
I don't think,
Semantics.
I don't think that woman changed one iota. He changed. He fell out of love with her. He committed her. She was not having a breakdown. She
Well,
felt the double cross.
That was a betrayal. But the result was what most people would consider a breakdown. What I consider a breakdown.
Well, I have had in my life a lot of things happen, and I've been very disloyal. And not in the terms that
how do you
teenagers would know disloyalty.
Excuse
it's
me,
the
please.
truth.
What was it that you meant?
But there's a question. I think that there's a pull and a push between whether you're an individual, as I feel right now, or whether you're part of a society. And I think we are, all of us, pulled and pushed between these two things constantly. And you keep on saying, do I want to be what I am, or do I want to be part of
Television.
It has.
John, will you
Really
want
not.
That's a slate in television.
Ooh.
Wonderful. Looks
That's
like an ice
very
cream.
Are you rolling now? Oh, I love it. Go.
John, I wanted to ask you, Gena, what you wanted the audience, if you wanted the audience to experience from Women in Influence at all. I mean, do you have something in mind for the audience?
Well, from my point of view, I can't speak for John because no matter how much you love someone, it's really presumptuous to speak for someone else. But from my point of view, on
Cute, isn't she?
I love speaking for someone else.
well, no, I know they're joking, but I'm always very happy when anyone takes his own. After all, everyone goes to the movie with himself or herself. I was very surprised when we first made Woman Under the Influence. I said, John, gosh, nobody 18 or 20 is going to even know what we're talking about. And then I found that young people would stop us on the street and they'd say, that's my mom and dad, you know. That's what I grew up in. And I was very happy, really. And then other people, you know, in their 30s and stuff, would say, it's the story of my life. And then there'd be other people, 90, who would say, that's exactly what I went through. And that was, I don't know, it was the most satisfying thing as a performer that I'd ever done. So that I really would say, from my point of view, I don't want to tell anybody what to think. I just hope that they'll be able to relate it some way into their lives.
John, what about?
I agree.
That's getting off the hook, right?
I agree. Think what you want. Opening night at the Fox Wilshire Theater. Come, we're quite lonely without the masses. We must have masses of people. The picture is opening night. Actually, one of the things I enjoy about the film, outside of the marvelous performances, and they are marvelous performances, is that the other character in the play, the most important character in the play, is the audience. And when the film is jammed with people, and they begin to respond, and I was sitting in the back of the theater watching the audience, and when the theater is jammed, the audience reaction in the movie house is exactly the audience reaction that was in the theater the day that we shot. And it's so thrilling to me to see that we didn't fake it, and that an audience can really respond to itself within this film, and that they're not shut out, they're not treated like 2-year-old children. They are allowed to see the workings of theatrical people as they are, not like they've ever been depicted before. This is an actress, an artist, who is perhaps more obsessed with the creative process than anyone else in the show. Ben plays the director, Paul is the producer, Joan Blondell is the writer, I'm another actor, Seymour is Seymour Cassell, who comes on, and Peter Falk is Peter Falk, and
Peter Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich, and other people come onto the thing. But the one person in the film that is obsessed and is wrong is a professional woman who says, I want to do my job the best that I can. And she's told not to because of society. She's told she'll be fired. She's told she's too old. Age comes up. Well, it's the truth. Age is a truth. And she's confused by it. And she examines it. And she's one of the finest people I've ever seen in my life. And we go back and forth between our own lives on the screen, the theatricality involved, and the blessing of expressing oneself, you know? I'm not ashamed of that. I think it's wonderful to express oneself. When we started this movie, I was afraid of this movie because I thought no one really is that interested in actors or what they really go through if we were really to put it on the line. And I look at the audience that watches this film, and they are interested, and I don't care where they come from. They are interested in this movie, and they're interested in theatricality because almost everyone wants to be funny. Almost everybody wants to be dramatic. Almost everyone wants to be better than anyone else. It is an incredible movie. To me, it's the finest movie I've ever had anything to do with. I love this movie, and I think everyone should go to see it, and not enough people are coming to see it. And I'm telling you, they're not going to see something stupid. They're going to see something that challenges their own intelligence and awakens their own emotions. And I like it. I like that movie. And I've never asked anyone to go to see the movie. I want to see Lines Around the Block tomorrow. Really, Lines Around the Block, because this is a stupid town. It is a stupid town in the sense that it is maybe one of the largest cities in the world. It's lazy. It's polite. It is so sissy in its mentality, so go along with everything that goes along. It's corporate owned. It's a town owned by Hollywood, and it's about time it grew up. It's about time that it took art and said, come on, baby, show me something. And we're showing them something. And there are not many people showing anything. And there are not many people that will go out and put themselves on a line in this world today because everyone's frightened. We're doing it for you. And I'm telling you that you're going to see the greatest performances, and that goes for Paul, Gena, Ben, Seymour, me, everybody. And I'm sick. I'm sick that this is such a little sissy town that they will only go to see something that is going to be successful, that a corporation says is great. And I'm telling you, we have something so much better, so wonderful, that you are just privileged to see this movie. I'm sick because there are just such a bunch of sissies in this world that they won't go out and see something that's wonderful, and they hear it's wonderful, and other people will tell them it's wonderful, but is it going to be a success? Is it going to be a success? I don't care if it's going to be a success. I want those suckers to come in there and to see this movie because they'll see what they always wanted to be, and that is to be theatrical, to be wonderful, to be liked, to be friends, to have something in their life that is warmer, and to regard someone that has more guts than you do, and to be inspired by people. And I'm not ashamed of it. I really hate this nonsense. Kill somebody, shoot him in the head, the blood pours out. Isn't that wonderful? I hate it. I hate it. And I feel sad for all the youth that has to be coerced into that thing, that they feel sick and sorry because they have nothing to go to. And we're going to show, I'm not saying that we're superhuman. We just are terrific people. We're terrific. We are sensational. We're better than all those guys that steal from their corporations, that stand up and say, we're going to rip off. I don't care, man. I don't care. It's sick. It's sick. I'm tired of that nonsense. I really feel more for the young people in this world. I really believe in them. I think that they're terrific, but they have nobody to show them the way. And they're a bunch of sheep. And I'm telling you that. They go here. No, it's no good. Okay, we'll go here. No, it's no good. It's wonderful. We'll go here. This picture is terrific. Everyone should see it, and every mother should take their kid to see it, and everybody should see this movie because it's better than anything out. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry, baby. That's the way it is.
Aren't you yourself proud of what you made? I mean, proud that you did it where the people they should see it, but if they don't you take pride in what you did?
I take a lot of pride, and I can watch that movie 500 times because I'm seeing something absolutely sheerly beautiful and inspiring. And I think that's important. And everyone has made love, religion, God. Time magazine had the audacity to kill God. Those people are floundering and walking around the world with nothing in their lives simply because they are not led by anybody of any responsibility. And I don't want to lead anybody. He'll lead, I'll lead, we'll all go and we'll take a chance and we'll try to express ourselves and hope that somebody will recognize that expression. And I don't care about CBS, NBC, ABC. Television sucks.
That'll get on. But that'll be a good
I don't really mean it sucks.
that they're going to keep forever.
I saw that. What do you mean?
I know you ran out, didn't you?
Well, Brett,
Benny, you better cut that.
is that okay? Are we done?
What's wrong with
No, we're going to stay here till morning now to straighten
Well,
you
you'll
out.
never get another one like this.
Give us 8 minutes because that... That's a frustration and it's sad because
When you go to Ben, I'm not in it. It's a close-up on
Yeah,
him.
there's I'm going to him, so he's there, but he may pull back.
Shall I lean out
No,
of
stay
it,
there,
or
because
is
if
it-
you're listening to him, that's what it really is.
John, it's my turn. Will you keep quiet, please?
John, Ben would like
Again?
to talk. He
You
didn't
talked
want to ask
already.
They're going to go to you next.
John, Andrew would like to request that we be
Give me a break.
We ready?
Give me a break. I have a cold.
Been rolling.
Oh, you've been?
You're not resonant enough without a cold?
Unbelievable. It's way down here. The voice is way down.
Ben, I want to ask you two things. One, about your feelings about opening night and your feelings of working in this group of people with John, for him, with him, however.
Which first?
Talk about John first, so that you remember what he was just saying. What is it about the group, you and Peter and John, working together? You're an actor who's done a lot of films, a lot of things, doing all those things. But there's something that makes you want to do these films. Say something, things you probably couldn't do elsewhere.
Well, yeah. There are two reasons. One is that usually in the process of your career where you make your money, and pay your rent and live well and buy the Mercedes-Benz, usually you're among strangers. By that I mean you get a call from your agent who says, geez, they're offering you so-and-so. They're on. He's rolling. He says, you show up in Munich or Istanbul, and you'll be there, and you take your plane a couple of days before shooting, and you arrive in the location, you meet a group of strangers, and you're thrown into a love scene with the leading lady, who you do not know, hardly know her name, and there you are expected to create some sort of humanity and feelings, and to explore a human being and to show what makes a man, etc. Well, it's impossible, really. Usually those pictures are highly structured, highly plotted. It's another kind of entertainment. It is entertainment, and it's terrific. There's a place for that. With John, it's why I work with John. It's another side of my soul, and that is exploring the time and the care to explore feelings between people, not plot points between people, because life isn't plot points. Life isn't keeping each other excited by surprising each other constantly. So and very few directors, John is one of the very few who give the actors opportunities to struggle with themselves in a role, to use as much of themselves as they can in a role, and he takes the time and the patience and the care to see that those areas of human relationships are explored.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I asked Ben to be in this picture, and he said, well, I'm doing a Shakespearean play. And he said, what is it? I said, well, read it. And he read it, and he said, John, there's nothing in it for me. Gena has everything, and I don't have anything. And I said, take the director. The director is good. And he said, well, then I'd have to cancel out this play. And he called me and he said, no, I can't do it. And I thought, son of a gun, more than that. And then he came in a couple of days later and he said, I want to do it. I'll do it. But I want to play the actor. And because Ben is an actor, he wanted to associate himself with an actor. He said, I think that the director is an idiot. And I said, I think it's the best part in the picture. And
You told me my part was the best part of the picture.
I said, you're a great actor. I said, you're a great actor.
And he made his part the best part in the picture.
But Ben, in what he does, you see, in what he does in opening night is tremendous. Tremendous. Because
Give me a moment,
he is a friend of Gena, which never before has been seen on the screen because there's no such thing as a man friend on the screen. It's not commercial. He is a friend. He is an ex-lover. It's an intelligent relationship. It's something that everyone understands. It's so familiar on the screen when people see it that they discount it. It's that familiar. But it's never been done on the screen before. Ben is, wait a minute.
Enough.
Wait a minute.
You're
Wait a minute.
embarrassing me.
Well, I don't care. I was in a picture, Dirty Dozen. I was nominated for the Academy Award. I never did anything. They couldn't find one review on me that was any good. And only Bob Aldrich thought I was wonderful, and that's why I was nominated for an Academy Award. Now, I really believe that Ben is tremendous because I think he's the first director that's ever been depicted on the screen. And he did it. It's his own creation, and it's beautiful. He is magnificent. I think he's magnificent.
Well, we don't measure everything by nominations, John.
Yeah, I do. I do. Because it's peers voting. And I think that all those other people that are in the thing, I think our people are much better. They're fantastic. Paul is fantastic. He's one of the greatest actors for 20 years. Ben,
Oh, thank you very much. I enjoy that.
Ben is fantastic. Seymour is fantastic. I'm fantastic, but no
Well,
one ever
And
voted
Jen
for
is
me.
blessed.
Ben?
There you are.
And Gena is
All right, ask me the other
a
question.
star by herself.
About
Yeah, there was another
Yeah.
piece of that question.
in the movie and aging, which was a portion of your feeling in it too. You were aging, you had an affair with a young girl, who then said you were too old.
Well, about opening night, it's good. I just returned to the theater in the last couple of years. I went back to Broadway twice in 2 years. So this picture, came at a time, this picture about the theater came at a time when I rejoined the theater, which is where I first did my work and where I intend to continue to do my work. So I had a lot of nostalgia to it, first of all. And secondly, the struggle that Gena goes through as an actress is a struggle I'm well aware of and can feel enormous compassion to. The metaphor being that we all struggle The actor's struggle is not unlike your struggle, or not unlike a housewife's struggle, and not unlike anyone's struggle to try to be creative and to try to take life outside of the humdrum and to give it an extra dimension, right? And this woman wants to take this person she's playing and give that person she's playing something extra, something extraordinary, because we are, all of us, unique. And the thing the actor has to do always is find the unique and extraordinary in the character he's playing, be he the most dismal loser in the world, or be she. What I mean is the actor has to like the character he's playing, even if he's Richard III or a sadist. You have to like him, and this woman is searching for something to like in this woman, which is not unlike what we all do.
What about getting old in terms of everybody, no matter what age they are, feels they're getting older? They don't want to say their age.
Well, I consider myself vintage wine now. I'm just ready to be open and drunk, so I don't have those problems.
Actors don't have that. Actors don't have that.
No, she's being told, you see, she's being told she's getting old. She isn't feeling that until people are pressuring her and saying it may be because you don't want to play this age thing. You're afraid of aging. You're afraid of age. I don't think that's her
Wasn't
fear.
that the phoniest part of the film?
Yeah.
For actors, aging is the phoniest thing that ever lived, because no actor ever gets old. They get bad,
Right.
and that's true.
Ball players get old. Actors don't. They
Actors
better.
get phony. They get mannered. They get familiar.
Scared.
They get scared. They're too fat. Or they're too thin. They're too whatever. But a good actor will last forever. Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, Barrymore, Lionel Barrymore,
Paul Stewart.
Paul Stewart.
I'm going to last forever?
You are forever,
Forever, Paul.
because you're a perpetual kid.
Better than you were.
They
20
are
years ago,
kids.
and you know it.
Actors are kids. We play games. And anyone that thinks that actors play for real are crazy. They are crazy people. Actors are temperamental. There is no actor that's worth his salt that is a person that is not an individual. An actor is an individual, and he's speaking for some poor little sucker in Podunk or Tarzana, and they stand up and they say, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that, and you identify with them. And when you finish doing that, you are finished. This man says,
I
well,
thought he was going to say finished. I got very nervous.
Paul is so absolutely dignified that when he gets up on the stage,
I'm too old to publicize. I want him to come in.
will not.
No,
let-
please,
I feel guilty.
please.
No, I'm sure you will do very well by us.
No. You're afraid.
what is that?
What? No, put the man. What are you holding?
I want to ask you about
I know. Look, I'm sorry. Yeah.
your feelings about the film.
Let
Your
him
role in the
talk.
film. You were the producer.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, what was the question, as they usually say? Well,
Opening night.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Your role in opening night.
Yeah.
Producer.
Well, that's an interesting question. I must tell you that John and I would see each other occasionally over these many years, and about 2 years ago he said to me, I'm writing a film, and there's a great part in it for you. Now, in Hollywood over the years, they always tell you that. You meet somebody at a party and they say, boy, there's a great part, and then you never get it, you never hear about it. But it did develop that John did call me in October 1976, and he said, I'm going to send you a script, and it's I'd like you to play the role. And I read the script, we met, and I said, I love the script, I love the part, and I think it's marvelous. And then I had to think about it, because I am an actor for so many years that I am conditioned. And that's what John's been talking about a great deal tonight. And it was very hard for me to break that kind of pattern because I'm a structurist. I mean, I believe in structure in the film and in story and in character. And we had many discussions, and I must say they're all exciting and interesting and philosophical at times. But I then realized that he was doing something to me that hadn't been done since the time I worked with Wells. And as you may know, I was in Citizen Kane, which was my first film. And Orson works that way. He still does. And he doesn't say, please be emotional here, and that's rather cliche, but I mean, he'll talk to you for maybe 5, 10, 20 minutes. And he's not talking about the character, really. He's talking about an idea, a concept, an emotion, a feeling. And then he says, now let's try it, let's make it, you know. And then you try, and you know. Well, John did that with me. Now, I must say many times I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. When I say, I mean, I understood the words. But I didn't understand it really, but I would then try. And I remember one scene in particular that we worked on, a scene with Gena. And we finally did it, and something happened to me that surprised me. And when it was over, and he said, cut, I looked at him as I've prone to do, and I said, you know, how was it? I said, I can't do it any better. I don't, there's no possibility of my, and he said, please forget it, it's marvelous, it's beautiful, whatever. He usually says. Even if it's bad, he says it's beautiful. He always says that. He kept telling me every day. I must say that John has been telling me for about 20 years now that I'm one of the greatest actors in the world, which he tells everybody. His greatest grip, the greatest cameraman, which is lovely. I think it's marvelous because it makes you feel that you are. But I must say that making opening night, and it was a long engagement. It was 16 or 17 weeks. That's a long time to be on a film. As a matter of fact, only a film I made called The Greatest Story Ever Told, which went on forever, was longer in terms of being around, you know. But it was always exciting and tremendous in my feeling. We still have differences, I must tell you that. They're very interesting and fun for us because there are two sides of us. I the actor, he the director. I also have been a director for many years. But there's a love thing. I love this man, and I know he loves me. I mean, as men can love each other. And I must say that it's been a marvelous experience. And I tell you one thing that John has said, and I think that people should see this film. I don't want to mention this most magnificent actress who phoned me about the film. And she's a delightful lady. And she was most nice. She was really very nice to me. But her major point was about how John had really captured the theater, but totally captured the theater and the terrible, terrible duress of everybody involved, of everybody. And I must say, I called John and told him this, and they went of an afternoon to see the film. As there weren't a lot of people in the theater, I think there should be more. I think it's an extraordinary experience for people to see this film.
You should tell the Joan Blondell story, Paul.
I don't.
How Joan kept saying she didn't know what.
Oh
was
yeah,
going on. She's
well, it's
nominated for a
interesting.
Golden Globe.
You know, Joan Blondell and I have been. Well, we knew each other way back in New York, and then she came to Hollywood, and she was in the film, and she too is a structurist actress. If that's, I don't know, maybe that, I don't know if that word is even correct, but I mean, I think you know what I mean. And I was the only one she knew a long time in the film. Everybody else was strangers to her. She knew them for what they looked like professionally. And I kept saying to her, look, don't worry, Joan. This is the way it goes with John. This is the way John works, and this is the way this picture will be made. And she said, sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. Well, she always knows what she's doing. But she meant that she wanted to have a mark to hit. And she wanted to have the dialogue. Now, we did a scene in the dressing room, in which John and Gena and Ben and myself, we talked about it a long time, and John did. Well, he always does most of the talking. John does. And then we finally began the scene. You see, and Joan, for the first time, began to contribute and say things. And she found, and then we, after the scene was over, and we did it many times, many ways, she said to me, "Oh, I see what he's after." And by then she, while she was still strange and was a stranger to this method of, and I don't mean method acting, but I mean this procedure. She fell in. There's one other thing I'd like to say. There's a moment in the picture, and it's quite pictorial. It's quite beautiful. We're backstage, Joan and I, and John said, "Just say to each other the problem. Gena is not there for opening night. She's drunk and somewhere. We don't know where she is, and it's a beautiful darkness and just a hot light on the two of us." And we knew the content of our problem. I as the producer, she is the authoress. And John, I would always have to start it because she couldn't start it. And I would say, "Well, there'll be another play," something like that. And then she would respond. Now, we shot it many times. John whispered and came to me quickly, and he whispered to me, he said, "Don't speak, let her start." And I was sitting on the arm of the chair, and she's sitting in this settee. And she looked up at me, and she was waiting for me to help her, to start the scene. And John had said, "Let her start." And I would imagine a film runs pretty fast through a film, it runs 90 foot a minute. And I would say that it was 180, maybe 240 feet. It ran through nothing that's been said. And finally, she realized that I wasn't going to say anything. She said, "I just can't believe this has happened to us." And then we were into the scene. I think that's the way the scene is still in the picture, isn't it?
Yeah.
She starts. See? Now that's the kind of thing that John will tell you. And it was, it's a kind of exciting moment for an actor. You fail many times because if you allow yourself to, to get too elaborate, it can be pretty boring. But it's a technique that John has, and as he says, we worked under very, very hard circumstances. We worked late into the night, 4 or 5 in the morning, cold, certainly not big A movie kind of stuff, And I had never heard a complaint. I got angry one night and went home. And I didn't get finally home. I didn't get home because
No, we wouldn't let him.
they wouldn't let me go. But it was 4:30 and they hadn't used me yet, and they'd called me at 8 in the evening. But I never saw anybody. I never really saw anybody, have anything but love and feeling for each other. And I've learned to, a lot about this. I don't think it'll happen again unless I make another picture with John. And I know he doesn't want me anymore. But I'm sorry. What? Oh well, John. Well, John. That was a most moving experience too, because it wasn't a big part. And I loved doing it, and there's a moment in that film that I cherish. That John helped me in enormously. It's a silent shot. It's a shot between it's a picture about retarded children. John was very sensitive and did a lovely job, and under grave circumstances in this film, with the star, one of the stars. And there's a moment in which my daughter, who is in her 30s,